The creepiest YouTuber of all time just returned. Hello everyone, my name is Fraser and today I'm here to talk to you about some internet shenanigans. And you know, before even recording this video, I asked myself the question of, do I even make this YouTube video? Because the landscape of YouTube has changed over the years. Comparing what I was speaking about in 2018 to what I speak about in 2024, things have definitely just radically become a whole different landscape. Nowadays, people are debating whether Baby Gronk has more Ohio Skibbity Riz than the Rizzler.
Who are you people?
And in 2017, we were debating, is this guy the worst YouTuber of all time? And if you don't know who this individual is, that would genuinely kind of shock me considering how many videos I've done on this man, but this is Onision. Now, Onision is a content creator who I've made probably around 100 videos on at this point, and that really does put into context of how much controversy, stuff, allegations, and everything that this man has been surrounded by on the internet in the last, well, 20 years. Everything with Onision goes back so far, and I really started to wonder, do I even make this video? Because do the kids of today even know who Onision is? And should I, even have to expose them to that? Do you really need to be exposed to Onision in 2024? But I've decided that yes, I do need to make this video because Onision, as I said, has returned, and in this return, it's a little bit different to usual. Because in this specific return, Onision is no longer trying to be a YouTuber, but he is now trying to be a TikToker. Yes, TikTok. The application known for, well, a lot of different things. Whether it's the Rizzler, Baby Gronk, or, severe allegations made against multiple content creators on that platform, TikTok is definitely more of a cesspool than YouTube somehow, and it really does kind of go hand in hand with Onision. And over the last few months in 2024, Onision has been trying to build a platform over there, whether it's content curation or live streams. He's pretty much been trying everything, and honestly, it's just been a miserable return. And in today's video, what I want to do is go over his return to the internet, but also some more mysterious things involving a lot of websites that Onision is currently running that a lot of you may not even know about. But also, I want to go into the cult of Onision, because yes, Onision is seemingly running, or at least was running, a cult at one point of time. And yeah, if you don't know who Onision is, take this as a jumping point into a terrible universe, which you're honestly never going to escape at this point. But if you do know Onision, it's more than likely that you are due a large amount of therapy. And with that, let's get into the first topic of today, and that doesn't just jump straight into Onision's return, but it actually jumps into some censorship issues that I've gotten into over the years in regards to Onision. So the chapter title is obviously quite dramatic. Onision is censoring content creators, but honestly, this is an issue that I've run into a lot over the last 5 years, and I'm still kind of mystified to the fact that this is still an ongoing issue on YouTube. You see, Onision is someone that has obviously been exposed left, right, and center for a decade plus now. He is regarded as arguably the most hated content creator of all time. Yet YouTube allow this man to have powers which I don't think that he should have. And those powers are the copyright system. You see, if you Google Onision and copyright, you will come across a large amount of posts where content creators, including myself over the last 10 years, are complaining that their video has been copyright claimed by Onision, despite most or if not all of those videos being under fair use. This is a massive issue and it has never been resolved to this day. If I were to show clips or maybe even images from Onision's channel in this video, he would copyright claim it and take every single bit of revenue from that video, despite this very video being under fair use. I would take clips from Onision, react to them, give my critical analysis on those clips, and he would still break those fair use rules in order to get a little bit of money. And despite all of these complaints over the years, nothing has been really done about this. And now, yeah, the copyright system on YouTube has always been a bit of an issue of where content creators will definitely take advantage of it, but I am confused why Onision, someone with a demonetized channel, is able to still use the system of where he can copyright claim individuals throughout the platform. To me personally, it's very obvious that this man has a clear history of taking advantage of that system, and I have a personal theory that I believe Onision does this so he can stop people making videos about him. Now, this may be a little bit controversial to hear, but money does matter for most content creators on this platform. Making videos isn't a cheap ordeal to go through. You've got to pay an editor, you've got to pay yourself to pay the bills. You know, content creators, it sounds bad, I guess, I mean it doesn't to me personally, but content creators do need to feed themselves and possibly feed others in situations. So if they make an entire video dedicated to a topic that they're not going to make any money from whatsoever, and in fact that money is going to go to the individual that they're criticizing, then they're going to be deterred from making a video. Now, you may say, well, surely you should make videos from a passionate perspective, and hey, yes, obviously passion should come into content curation, but also you do have to make some money if this is your job. Now, some people like myself, you know, I have a luxury of, if this video gets copyright claimed, I'm not going to be financially ruined, but some content creators out there who aren't as lucky and privileged as me, you know, they work from video to video. They need the money from their next video to pay the bills, and I think Onision knows that, and that is why he is so deliberate with his copyright claiming abuse. And yes, also he does it because he needs money, because the guy is pretty much financially crippled at this point. I mean, the guy is just, I don't even know how to describe him, but in terms of his financial situation, it's been in the mud for a very, very long time. So yes, Onision takes advantage of this system to, one, in my opinion, censor people, and two, so he can possibly pay his mortgage. But it doesn't even end there, because content creators over the years have also dealt with issues where their video criticizing Onision has been taken down completely by YouTube. And I won't lie to you, this is very confusing considering the amount of videos that I have personally made on Onision, but also plenty of other creators out there have made on Onision. But it does just seem in this particular situation, smaller content creators over the years have been targeted, and I guess it is considered a mistake that this happened, because this video that I'm referencing here was actually, I believe, reinstated. It is now available back on the internet, but ultimately it is a little bit worrying and disheartening to see that other content creators are having to deal with issues like this surrounding Onision. Now, it's not just a financial issue, but it's getting to the point of where your entire channel is at risk speaking about Onision. And look, I love YouTube. I definitely think YouTube have had a bad rap in terms of the criticism that they've received over the years. The other content creation platforms, in my opinion, that aren't YouTube are far worse in terms of how they're run and how they implement their rules and regulation. I think YouTube, considering the size and scope of the platform, they do a generally good job. But in this case with Onision, there have been a lot of slip-ups, and I don't really know why. Yes, maybe some people over the years have gone overboard. Yes, some people have taken advantage of the whole anti-Onision movement. But ultimately, for the most part, I think people are doing good, honest criticism of Onision. And the guy himself is allowed to upload his YouTube videos. So why are we the ones having to worry about just speaking about Onision? This is a platform that prides itself on free speech, and this is just very confusing. confusing. I even found Reddit posts from almost 8 years ago where people were documenting this long-lasting history of copyright claims on small YouTubers from Onision. But on top of Onision's censorship via copyright claims, he also is well known for attempting to sue individuals that have merely spoken about them, including myself. Now, I'm not going to go through this lawsuit yet again, I've done it multiple times at this point, but it's quite hilarious that Onision is someone that is known to complain about the harsh treatment of him on the internet, when this guy does everything that he can to basically make everybody hate him. You're obviously going to be despised if you sue people, if you copyright claim every single piece of content on the internet about yourself. It's an utterly ridiculous thing to do, and for some reason he's been allowed to get away with it for absolute years now. But yeah, I did just want to cover this because you're probably going to notice in this video there will be no footage of Onision. It'll be very rare if you see an actual image of Onision, because I'm that afraid of this guy's, I guess, him taking advantage of the copyright system, and that's wild given who Onision is and what he is known for. But yes, let's now get into his return to the internet. Now, to start this chapter, I have 2 questions. Question number 1 being, could you please subscribe to the YouTube channel? I'm trying to hit 1.1 million subs by the end of the year, and it would really help me out quite a lot. Please also like the video and comment down below. But also, the second question is, do you feel old? Viewers who have been around for a very long time, please let me know if you feel old about the fact that people now don't know who Onision is. Doing the research for this video, I have stumbled across TikTok comment sections being like, who is this guy and why is he stuck in 2011? And yeah, it's quite insane to me that people just don't know about Onision. But in short, Onision, to summarize who he is as a human being, well, he's certainly an individual. He's someone who over the last 20 years has faced a large amount of allegations, to the point of where there are multiple hour documentaries about him on YouTube. He's had a television show made about him by Chris Hansen, and we won't go into that show. It's not really well received, but it does just show how big this story got. And yeah, there's even 3-hour plus icebergs about him. He's gone to court multiple times over the situations from over the years involving himself, and just in general, Onision is known as one of, if not the most hated content creator that has ever come from YouTube, and he is definitely seen as arguably the most creepiest content creator that ever came from this platform. And that's why this return is genuinely quite interesting to me, because now he's trying to get into the space of individuals that don't know who Onision is, and that starts to go into unfamiliar territory of where, with people that don't have any, I guess, conscious bias towards Onision, it really is going to ask the question of, what will the new generation do with Onision? Will they respond to him in a pleasant way? Will they say, oh, all of the stuff surrounding you seems to be absolute nonsense? Or will they adapt and adopt to the same thought process surrounding Onision for the last 20 years? Go to the comment section and let me know what option you think they'll do. I mean, just comment beans if you think it's going to be the same old story. And by same old story, I mean Onision is well known for leaving the internet and returning to the internet. In 2022, Onision left the internet, and then he came back in November 2023 with a, I guess, documentary trying to debunk every single thing out there about him, or the things that he has chosen to go over, I guess. And that documentary was extremely well received. And given the reception to the documentary, I guess he finally thought, alright, I'll try something different. I'll go over to TikTok. And yes, that takes us to this account right here, Onision.com, and this has been going viral over the months. A lot of people have been saying, Fraser, have you seen this account? Have you seen Onision getting up to shenanigans over there? And my friends, I have seen it. We all have seen it, unfortunately. It's embarrassing, it's terrible, and it just in general is more of the same for Onision. But the interesting thing about these accounts is, despite Onision is trying to go into a complete new sphere of a younger generation of people that are on TikTok, because I do kind of believe that the average age demographic of TikTok is younger than the average demographic of YouTube. It's interesting to me that he's come over to this platform and he is doing the exact same thing that he was doing in 2011. The videos he's posting are wild, epic, crazy, raw XD music videos where it's all flashy and goofy and funky. And it's crazy that this guy has been on social media for over 20 years at this point, and he is, oh, that's so weird. I'm so old to even say 20 a year. But, you know, he's been around for a very, very long time, and he still believes that, I guess, everybody is kind of like into the 2011 aspect of what it was like to be a teenager. And if you're a younger person watching this right now, hello, I'm ancient. In 2011, things were quite different. In 2012, it was like people wearing snapbacks backwards, and they would be being like raw XD, I'm a dinosaur. They would dye their hair multiple colors like it's the rainbow. They'd like have goofy Tumblr accounts like this. It was a completely different time to what it is now. The internet has evolved and changed so much, and yet this TikTok account that Onision has been going viral for is a clear example that that man has simply not moved on from 2011, and it's just absolutely hilarious but not surprising whatsoever. When you go back to his YouTube channel, you can see that he is still holding on to things from 2010. For example, in the last few months alone, he has uploaded 3 different videos to do with the banana video from 14 years ago. I mean, just let it go, bro. It's over. But the thing is on YouTube, we're all like, oh, this is cringy, this is stupid, why are you still doing this? But on TikTok, they're just brutal, man. They're nastier over there. And the thing is Onision isn't dealing with this well. He has gone on tangents of where he has basically exploded at the audience over there for just being mean to him. And I'm like, what did you even expect? Like in this TikTok here, for example, it's meant to be Onision having a conversation with himself in like some skit form of where it's regular Onision speaking to an emo Onision that diverts into some music video, which is like a meta joke about Onision falling off in terms of social relevance. And it just screams 2011. Brother, Skrillex, he's not around anymore. Well, he is, but he's not releasing Bangarang anymore. And even that was after 2011. He's not releasing, what was it, like Scary Monsters and something Sprites? He's not doing that anymore. I don't even think most people on TikTok know who Skrillex is. You need to move on, my friend. Not my friend. You are not my friend. And the music video that he diverts in shows imagery of things saying that Onision is the devil, and then it's just AI generated images of people saying that they hate Onision. And yeah, woo, I'm really glad that we're destroying the environment so Onision can AI generate his whatever this is. And look, we could have a big ethical conversation surrounding Onision's use of AI generated imagery and video content, but honestly, I don't care. Put the polar bears in the water for a second and let's just push that aside and ask the real questions of just why? Why are you doing this? Genuinely, what does this achieve? People like to use the whole phrase of rage bait, and yes, rage bait is a very real thing of where content creators build careers off rage bait, of where they get hundreds or millions of views surrounding their content, which is deliberately designed to bait people for interactions. But these posts aren't getting enough interactions to warrant that. These posts aren't making him money. He is demonetized on practically every single platform out there. So why are you still doing this? And the fascinating thing that I have of Onision is that he hasn't been deplatformed. He still has access to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Lonely Man's, unfortunately, and plenty of other places, and he chooses to do this, and I'm just so confused to why. You have a child, you are like 40 years old, and no offense to the good 40-year-olds that watch this video, that's not an attack on you, but at 40 years old, I imagine you're a little bit more put together than you were 20 years ago, whereas Onision, he seems less put together than he was 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, Onision was running a religious cult. At least he's got some level of, I don't know, day-by-day planning going on there. And again, we will get into that. But yeah, it just seems that this guy's life is a complete mess. And yes, I did ask this question earlier of how will the newer generations react to Onision. And every single time I say newer generations, a part of my soul genuinely spontaneously combusts because I'm the newer generation, right? I'm only 27. But yes, how did the newer generation respond to Onision? Well, the best possible way to get an answer to that question is it's the comment section. Just put my fries in the bag, bro. Almost 30. Isn't he like 45 or something? It's 2024, bro. These posts have to be some form of midlife crisis, and yeah, as you can see in the other comments, pretty much, just in general, people were not taking well to this. And look, if you're new to Onision, something that I'll let you know that he loves to do is he likes to be like, everybody doesn't like me because of all these things that I've allegedly done over the years, or definitely have done over the years. And look, that is definitely a valid reason to why most people don't like Onision. But what I find fascinating about TikTok's response to Onision is they don't even know about this stuff and they don't like him because the content is just bad. It is just unbelievably cringy to witness. I mean, it's a sad thing to see a 38-year-old dude stuck in 2011. I mean, put the Nintendo Wii controller down, bro. It's time to move on. Your pension is coming through very soon. Oh god, again, I want to die that I just referred to the Nintendo Wii as like a retro. I feel sick in my mouth. I'm mocking an old man. Not old. I'm old. I'm saying, like, I feel weird that I'm calling this guy old when I also am dying. But in other TikToks, I'm actually going to show some of his faces because he's dressing up like this, and I'm like, oh, stop. Just have some respect for yourself, man. Like, just have some respect. Do you not look at this, Greg, and you think to yourself, yeah, maybe it is time to put the fries in the bag? Because like that's better than what you're doing here. That actually is like contributing to society. This, I don't know what it is, but I do. It's for like another music video that he posted. And the music video is captioned with "No one likes Onision. They don't like his posts. They don't follow him. They don't share his videos. Nothing ... lol, hashtag song, hashtag Onision, hashtag cosplayer, hashtag cheerleader, hashtag troll, hashtag meme. Ah, yeah. Make sure to use those hashtags. Get them done. You know, go down below and comment hashtag meme and hashtag troll. But what's even funnier about this music video is the fact that in the comments section, a comment ratioed the entire post. And honestly, it is just kind of sad. It really is to see him go down like this. Like, the bloke went down on YouTube like 5+ years ago when he was like doing videos of where he was smearing shit all over his face, and he came out being like, oh guys, it was a joke. It was a bit. I fooled you. Yeah. Where did you fool me when you were rubbing whatever that is all over yourself? Where? I'm not the one being fooled here. You are fooling yourself. And here, he is once again doing the exact same thing, but rather than smearing all over his face, he's smearing, just in general, sadness over his face. And then the other posts are just Onision proving that he's not left 2011 because he's being nostalgic about collaborations that he has done with Phil from Dan and Phil. And honestly, I didn't know about this, and I don't think anyone needs to know about. Let's move on from this. Dan and Phil fans, I am very sorry. I think you're called fannies. I think. Let's move on. But yes, with Gregory being bullied by a bunch of 13-year-olds on TikTok, he naturally had to respond to that. And oh boy, he did in a TikTok, which I can't play you because Gregory loves censorship. But I have written down the transcript and I think we should just go through it now. And Yes, it's just as bad as you possibly expected. Now, in the description of the TikTok, it states that comments are only enabled for Onision site elites. Now, I do believe that means individuals that actually pay Onision a monthly subscription where you can get access to his, I guess, comment section. And notice that there are 0 comments on this. Again, it's quite embarrassing, but let's actually get into the transcript now. Now, he starts off this by saying, on TikTok and Twitter, y'all are incredibly confident despite being completely ignorant. It's mind-blowing how wrong people can be whilst acting so sure of themselves. Touch grass, read a book. Gregory, I'm genuinely not sure that your literacy skills go to the point of being able to read a picture book. I don't believe that you have ever read a book in your life. And the ironic thing here is you are telling individuals to touch a grass, to touch out. Now, I never claimed to be literate. To touch grass when you are posting this. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's a bit ironic. But in this TikTok, Onision goes on a big spiel about how everybody criticizing him is absolutely a terrible person. And I find that quite ironic that this is coming from the guy who literally went onto social media and said, it was only 4 months, guys, in regards to him defending himself against multiple allegations to do with a 17-year-old, if you catch my drift. But then let's continue with what he says in the TikTok itself, where he starts off by saying, hey guys, the trial run of enabling comments is over, and I found out that you guys are horrible people. Just horrible, horrible people. Like, almost all of you are horrible people. I mean, we get the point, Greg. This kind of reads like a bit of a Joker speech, so we should try and do a bit of a Joker voice. Your comments have... oh god, I can't do it. Your comments have 0 research. It's like bizarre how much Kool-Aid you guys have drank. You watch a video online and suddenly you're a member of a cult. Onision, you literally ran a cult. Again, we will get into that later in this video. But yeah, after this, he then goes on to reference a lot of conspiracy theories, being like, oh, you're the type of people that believe these horrible theories about these horrible people. And it's like, no, Greg, there are hundreds, if not thousands, no, there are thousands of videos documenting like all of the things to do with you over the last 15 years. I made an iceberg video where I went over that amount of things that you did. And honestly, the iceberg could have been 7 hours long, but you know how it goes with me in 7-hour videos. We ain't going down that path again. But yes, there is a lot of stuff out there, Greg. This is something that he loves to do, of where he seemingly is like, oh, you guys believe everything. And it's like, Greg, there is 20 plus years of your history on the internet. Now, people do, you know, I personally believe forgive people. They allow people to change and grow, but you haven't changed and grown. You are still defensive over things from 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. You still refuse to take any accountability in any single action you've ever committed on the internet. I mean, Greg, are you ever going to apologize to the turtle for when you killed it? Are you? This is a genuine thing that Gregory did. He killed his pet turtle. And funny enough, that's like one of the least worst things he was accused of. But it wasn't even an accusation. He literally admitted it on social media. Oh, how about in 2010 when Onision recorded his ex-partner having a mental breakdown and uploading that on social media to just prove a point? Or how about the series that Onision has notoriously been criticized for, of where he ranked his fans' looks, and allegedly in that series he ranked underage individuals' looks? Or how about where he allegedly crossed across state lines to do you-know-what with a 17-year-old? Or how about Onision sleeping with someone who he considered that he was a temporary foster parent to and knew from the age of 14 years old? Or how about the fact that that same individual that he slept with was being flirted with by his current partner when they were 20 and the victim was 14? These are documented things, and Onision loves to defend himself, like I've seen in his recent defenses of, oh, this person did this bad thing, this person rang me up and said this bad thing. Okay, maybe we can have valid talking points and criticisms about those actions, but it doesn't really take away from anything that people have gone through in the documentation of everything over the last 15 years. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. One person doing a bad thing doesn't cancel out another bad thing. And this is the argument that Greg has loved to use over the years of, oh, you did this bad thing, I guess that makes all of my actions redundant. And look, Greg, if you've done a few bad things here and there, look, maybe I'd be willing to forgive the turtle as a mistake, but the reality is there are there are, in my opinion, criminal things that have happened which I just can't look past. And this does take us nicely into the final genre of content that Gregory has gotten up to on TikTok over the last few months, and that is where he goes on live streams and debates with individuals about whether his actions were right or wrong, or whether they were just outright lies or were actually true. And honestly, I don't really like this, and I don't think that I would ever want to engage in a live stream debate with Onision. And the reason for that being, I genuinely believe that live debates, or just debates in general, are not a productive way to go around getting a truthful answer to a situation or question, because in a debate, it's not necessarily about facts, it's about being the better debater. Debating is a genuine skill that can be really entertaining to watch, but ultimately, if you win a debate, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're right. You could just be debating against somebody that is a little bit awkward, they're a little bit anxious, and that means they freeze up and forget certain facts that they would be able to present in, I don't know, a YouTube video, where there are multiple videos out there outlining the facts about everything to do with Onision. And jam-packing 3 hours of facts into an Onision debate isn't just really possible. So no, I don't think these debates achieve anything. And the fact is despite Onision loves to act like he's this epic debate lord of where he beats everyone in debates, honestly, from what I've seen in these clips that I can't play, it is just Onision stumbling over his words whilst he gets lectured by people on the internet, which I guess is nice to see, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really achieve anything. We know what we know about Onision, and I don't think it's smart to engage in these live stream debates, because realistically, it does just bring more and more attention to him. And yes, that is a little bit ironic considering I'm doing that right now, but I'm not doing it on his platform. I'm not giving him the opportunity to get follows and subscribers, in my opinion, whereas these debates are hosted by Onision on his platform, and I just don't think they're productive. I've never really enjoyed the whole thing of debating of, oh wow, he got an epic own, he must be in the right, because the reality is live stream debates are incredibly flawed, and it is just a skilled thing that should only be used for entertainment, in my personal opinion. I don't need a live stream debate with Onision to conclude my opinion on him. I have thousands of videos over 15 years. I have a 3-hour documentary from The Right Opinion going over the facts. I have Jay Aubrey going over the facts. I have 4 hours from Cruel World Happy Mind recently going over the facts. So no, I don't care for these debates, and honestly, neither should you. I know they can be a little bit entertaining to watch, but realistically, it's not worth it. And look, as much as I do think Onision probably should be in a jail cell, I do think that there is something respectable about people that can just drop something, admit, you know what, I've not won here, I've lost, and they just move on with the rest of their life. And we're getting the absolute opposite of that with all of this. We are getting one of the biggest crash outs I think I've ever seen on social media, and it's been going on for around 5+ years at this point. And the thing is, with this whole return that he's done here and all of his previous returns, he never actually wants to produce content. Realistically, think to yourself here, when did you last see a video from Onision where he isn't referring to his haters or the people that don't like him or whatever you want to call them? When did you just see an honest to God video from Onision where he isn't complaining about the perspective that the internet has on him? Because honestly, I don't think that there has been one since around 2016. So why is he still doing this? Why is he still embarrassingly trying to alter the public perception of him? Onision, in my opinion, is a rare case of an influencer who was actually successfully cancelled, and I don't think that's ever going to change. Right now, Onision is actually being sued by the victim that I mentioned earlier, Sarah, and in this case, even if somehow Sarah doesn't win it and it gets dropped, or even Onision wins the case, I don't think at all that is going to change the public perception of Onision, because Greg not being in a jail cell doesn't dictate what the public think of him. We have seen the last 15 years. We know what has happened. We have seen everything. But I think Greg genuinely believes that going on these debates, making these YouTube documentaries is going to change everything, when it's just not. Even if you don't end up in a jail cell, even if you don't lose your lawsuit, nothing is going to change. Look at James Charles. This is a guy who admitted this, and he is still internationally famous, getting invited to events and everything. But despite that, it does seem that the court of public opinion believes that James Charles probably should have been in a jail cell for what he admitted to. No matter how much there is media coverage of claiming he's changed, or better, most people on the internet still believes that James Charles is a bit of a dodgy bloke. And no matter what you do, Onision, that same thing is going to happen with you, because we have seen the last 15 years and we know what happened. We're not lying to ourselves, and I think you just need to accept that. So yes, to kind of conclude this return to TikTok, it's obviously pretty embarrassing, but going through the comment section does bring a lot of happiness to me. It's nice to see that the torch is kind of being passed on, if you know what I mean. For years and years, you've had people like Repsion from 2011 speaking about Onision. Then it went to people like myself and other commentary YouTubers, and now the good kids over on TikTok are carrying on the conversation, and Onision is still being mocked by pretty much everything for very, very valid reasons. But the thing is, my friends, the return to the internet somehow doesn't end there, because I've actually been going undercover over the last few months, and I actually gained access. I don't know how. I can't remember how I got into it, but I got into Onision's Discord server, and I haven't got into the bit where you get through the application process, but I have got access to the whole updates part of whatever Onision is up to. And I have been seeing this man go through some pretty interesting things, of where he is now running 2 websites, but also 2 other TikTok accounts. And it's quite interesting to see that he is still trying to build, I guess, this Onision empire. He's trying to rebuild from the remnants of 15 years ago. And again, I need to refer to this. Just let it go, bro. It's not just over. There's not even a word invented yet to describe how over this is. Just quit. But also what's hilarious is that he's actually got a price plan to where you can join his full 18+ Discord. I mean, I'm glad you're actually monitoring the ages nowadays, buddy. Might be a little bit too late for that though. But the 2 TikTok accounts that I was speaking about is this one here, Onision Speaks, and then also this one here with Onision.net, and both of these accounts have around a combined follower count of 8,000 followers. And obviously, in the grand scheme of things, that really is not that much, and I do believe most of these followers are probably just following him so they can see when he first posts and comment, I guess, their criticisms or just mockery. But what is interesting is that there definitely does seem to be somewhat of a very, very, very small fan base remaining in regards to Onision, because his Discord server does have active users. And also, as I said, Onision is running 2 websites currently, one called Oni.red and one called Onision.com. And on these websites, Onision has a lot of active users that actually post and, I guess, engage with Onision. Now, some people may say that these accounts are Onision talking to himself, because over the years, Onision has faced a lot of allegations of creating accounts to defend himself. Now, maybe that is that, but based on what I'm seeing, I do genuinely believe that Onision is still getting some tiny level of support. Now, yes, the TikTok accounts are definitely just getting completely lambasted by people that found them, and the content on there is no different to the account we went through earlier. For example, the first video I noticed was Onision rating Shane Dawson out of 10, and if you're wondering what he gave Shane, it was an 8 out of 10. I mean, this doesn't change my life in any way, shape, or form, and it probably doesn't change yours. Please subscribe. But in the next TikTok, he's dressing up as Dr. Disrespect and promoted his website for where all the fans can meet up and they can chat. So I mean, honestly, combining Onision with Dr. Disrespect is not a good time. It's definitely something that has not aged well. But I mean, talking of age well, those two know all about that. Can I even say that? Actually, they wouldn't like it when somebody aged well, would they? It still seems a bit weird to say that. I'm saying that they have allegations surrounding them and children. But then moving over to the Onision Speaks account, it is just more of the same millennial content, and he also, speaks about his voting history, and in one of them he clarifies on who he has voted for. He started off voting for Obama, and then he voted for Obama again, and then he voted for Hillary Clinton, and then he voted for Biden. But he clarified to us the vote that he was proud most of, was his vote for Obama in 2008.
I would have voted for Obama for a third term if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands down.
I mean, there's something about, millennials who are like, oh, I voted for Obama, I'm definitely a good person. It's like, I mean, no? Doesn't really mean that, but congratulations, I guess. I mean, sure. By the way, that's not a criticism of Obama. It's a criticism of people that like to be like, oh, I didn't vote for the Conservative Party, I'm a good person. It's like, no, you can be left-wing and also, or vote for a left-wing party or just a centre-left party and be also a bad dude. But something I noticed throughout all of these accounts, including the first one that we went through earlier, is that every single TikTok account that he is running is desperately promoting his two websites, Only.red and Onision.com. And this does kind of lead us into the cult conversation that I mentioned earlier, because it seems that Onision is trying to get a small collective of people and direct them away from all forms of conversation surrounding anything else other than himself in a positive light. Now that does sound, a little bit cultish, especially with all of that being ran by Onision himself, and that will lead into, further cultish conversations, but let's actually just take a look at these websites for a second. Now, Only.red in 2023 started off as an online forum where Onision wanted to share his thoughts and ideas and have casual conversations with his audience that I guess still exists. But what's interesting is to see that that is actually a bit of a rebrand to what Only.red was originally in 2021, and the 2021 version of it is a little bit more cursed than what we currently have. As you see here, it is dubbing the site as an adults-only NSFW site, and it is called Only 18+. And yes, it's a little bit different to casual conversations. And some of the posts made that year were like this. Do you want to see his butt? Do you want to see that man's buttocks? Don't worry, I'm not going to show it, and I have not looked. I promise. I promise. Now, Onision.com is a little bit different. It's more actually just Onision fully presenting himself as he presents himself on his YouTube channel. No 18+ stuff. It's just him whining and his ramblings into the internet ether. And I have actually spoken about this website before, where we have briefly gone through some of the books that Onision has actually written and posted on that. And also he has posted comic books, which if this video gets 20,000 likes, I guess we can go into. So if there's a little bit of incentive to like the video, subscribe, comment down below, maybe you could. 20,000, fair deal. But yeah, the latest book that he has written is basically like a biography on his life, where I think it's about somebody else, but it is just blatantly him writing about himself and how the world is so cruel and wrong. It kind of reads like a Twilight book from 2007, but actually far, far worse, because I like Twilight. But do I like Twilight? I like what Twilight is. Does that make sense? The movie, not the book. The book sucks. But more recently on the website, Onision has been posting more personal updates, and seemingly he's not really doing too well. And some of the... Well, I'm not going to laugh. Some of them are a little bit deep. So as you can see here, Onision says, my skin cancer diagnosis plus photo. I'm not laughing at that. And then one day later, I'm laughing at this. It just jumps to, I woke up and Sarah wished cancer on me. And look, I'm not saying it's funny that he's gotten that, obviously. It's just like the jump between topics. I don't know why. Something about it just made me laugh when I first read it. But yeah, it's pretty clear that Onision is not... He's not been going for a good time. But the main post that I wanted to focus on was Onision's latest post called Why? Where Onision ponders what happened to the real heroes. I mean, mate, they literally just released Sonic's X Shadow Generations. The heroes, they're right there. And oh my god, I just realized this entire video, I haven't had my little Shadow plush yet. Oh no. I'm so... Comment L down below, because that is a big L. I'm sorry. If you're new here, Shadow and Shadow 2 are always there. But yes, this post again is just Onision being unable to accept the fact that people on the internet just simply don't like him. And also he's just calling everybody dishonest and I guess rude and mean and saying that everybody's lying about him and oh, the world's so terrible. And the thing I've learned about being on the internet in the last 8 years is that you can't please everyone. You are not going to be liked by everyone, and not just on the internet, but in life in general. And if you spend your time and energy trying to convince the people who don't like you to like you by being like, I'm a great person, it's not going to achieve anything. It's probably going to make them dislike you even more, and it's just going to be a complete waste of your time. So again, I ask the question of why? Why are you doing this? What does this achieve? I doubt Onision is really making much money from any of this whatsoever. So why not just go and get a real job? Why not just go and work a normal life? Look after your children, because this guy has kids. Maybe if he was 24, I would get him still being in this arc, but he's been doing this for 15 plus years. Go look after your children. Make sure it doesn't fall out of a window again. A real thing that happened, by the way. Make sure that they are living good lives. You don't need to do this. You're not achieving anything, but yet he continues. I've never seen someone so unable to accept, okay, maybe people just permanently don't like me and that's fine, I'll move on. You still have your platforms which can remain as archives to your content from when you weren't an absolutely hated content creator. You're not in jail. You can just go live your life and be happy. But he chooses not to, and I think that does just summarize the ego of this guy. Even though he has gotten away with everything, he still chooses to persist with all of this. And it's like, man, it's just unbelievable to witness. But moving on from that, when you go to the bottom of the website, there's also an Amazon wish list, which if you click on, it takes you to a bunch of things that Greg is requesting that his remaining fans buy for him. And it's really weird things like a wig, a Japanese headband, pirate bandana, Crocs shoes, Lights Woody, Pokemon figurines, Uno, the Oppenheimer DVD, Pelotons, and it's like, bro, if you really want these things, just go get a job. You don't need to beg from your audience. I mean, even if there is just 10 people remaining, have a little bit of shame, man. Maybe take some, proudness, I guess, in the fact that you have still convinced a very minute amount of people to stay around despite everything. I mean, even though I completely disagree with that, I guess it is somewhat of an achievement. So maybe take that and just ride off into the sunset. But no, obviously, he's never going to do that. He's never going to leave, and he will always, even in 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised, be around, defending himself, and I guess just whining about every single person on the internet. In 10 years, there'll be a new Repsion, a new me, a new Cruel World Happy Mind covering him, and he, despite that, will still be trying to clear his name even though he's done it a million times and no one has bought it. But with that, we now need to move into what I keep on referencing throughout this video, Onision's cult. And that is Censoring, which is a religious group that Onision founded in the year of 1997. That is how far all of this stuff goes back. Now, basically, this is a religion which Onision has designed himself, where he has set the rules himself, he's created the law himself, and I think that he was hoping to possibly indoctrinate people into this religion, and I have a little bit of a theory that maybe he still lives his life by the rules that he set in Censoring, and maybe people to this day that like Onision are possibly following these rules. Even if they aren't, it is pretty interesting to look into, because it does give us a bit of an insight into the mind of Onision, because for years he's been, I guess, accused of being a cult leader, and yeah, he absolutely is. Now, this is a screenshot from his website in 2004, and it introduces us with, "Welcome viewers of Censoring. The literary documents provided on this site introduce and evaluate an amazing reality which is now finding homes in millions of information-hungry minds all over the earth. For the recorded years of humanity, one of the many questions before intrigued minds has resolved around the most important topics of all subjects. What is existence for? How do we exist?" And yeah, that seemingly is a big thing that this whole religion, I guess, revolves around. The mere reasoning for why we are here on this planet. And of course, Onision is the one who knows the reason. Censoring has become an answer to the vital questions concerning our lives through logical yet amazing facts involving the past and present world. Those capable of understanding Censoring and the perspectives provided will find the keys so many have been searching for. I love that he says, those capable of understanding. I mean, it's the most Onision thing ever. If you don't understand, or I guess you don't believe, then you're not capable. You're not intelligent enough. And yeah, this is, I guess, a lot of red flags to what Onision is eventually going to become. Today, you have the opportunity to observe an alternative mentality, a path divided from the default standards involving simple beliefs that have convinced most all one time or another. Existence is a seemingly complicated subject that so few have neared a proper conclusion to define beyond more present time. Diversions through methods involving excuses such as downing human capabilities are oftentimes given freely to avoid confrontation of the reality at hand. We have the ability to explain ourselves, and here you will find out how true this statement really is. You have entered a new section of human comprehension. Those seeking a meaningful answer to settle what no system of beliefs has before will continue on through the pages our work has to offer. All others visiting us today will continue their lives devoid of these rare perspectives. The choice is yours, and then it asks you to continue. I love how demeaning he is in this. You know, if you don't want to engage in this, then you're basically ignorant, and it's pretty hilarious because it is just quite clearly a cult. But I clicked continue, and it does just lead you further and further down what basically seems to be a bit of an Onision Bible. The next section supposedly gives the meaning of life, starting off with countless questions can be asked regarding the existence of mammals, reptiles, even disease and death. Our lives have always held a beginning, and they will all surely one day meet its end. However, our existence is not the only reality that dwells before the universe's platter. As many know, it is indeed one of the most insignificant, yet despite this, our lives are also remarkable before many other creatures dwelling beyond our eyes' reach. The source of all humanity decided our main objective. Such origins are discussed later on in this series of explanations. New human beings are born around this world every moment of every day. Each individual has a future, but not a fate. And that is why I, Onision, am here to tell you your fate and the rules that you must follow in life. It's bro, how were you thinking like this at like 17 years old? The man at such a young age was clearly just, I mean, how do I describe it? Warped in reality. It's clear just reading this that the man was destined for absolute chaos. And there is just so much detail that we can go into when it comes to Censoring and the rules and the meaning for life that it gives. And I do really want to do that, but I don't want to diverge too far away from Onision's return. So again, if you do want me to cover Onision's cult, then please like this video, 20,000 likes, and I will do a follow-up video where we go through absolutely everything in this cult, every single page, every bit of lore that I can find, because he's even created a dictionary definition which goes over specific religious words in his religious cult. And it's just like, wow, he actually put time and energy into this to a point of where I'm low-key kind of impressed, yet at the same time very, very terrified that I genuinely believe that Onision is still living his life by the rules and regulations of Censoring, and maybe possibly his small fandom that we have witnessed throughout this video, or at least I have witnessed, are also following this cultish thing of whatever Censoring actually is. But in conclusion, Onision's return to the internet, it is once again just an absolute mess, and yes, it is a little bit worrying that he is trying to, I guess, get into the world and stratosphere of Gen Z on TikTok, but ultimately, it's not really gone down too well for him, and honestly, if there's one thing that I would love Onision to do, it would be to post on Instagram Reels. I have seen the comment section on Instagram, and that is probably the most brutal comment section I have ever seen. And if Onision went over there, I feel like his videos would change up very slightly, because we've seen how he responds to people on TikTok. Well, I would just love to see how he responds to people on Instagram. But yes, overall, this return to the internet, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Yes, it's a little bit worrying, but ultimately, it's just more of the same. I'll conclude this video by saying, please, if you don't know who Onision is, do your research. I have an iceberg video that I recommend that will be up next, but if you want to see a more formulaic, in order documentary, The Right Opinion has one, Cruel World Happy Mind has one, Jay Aubrey has one. I recommend all 3 of those videos or series. Please do your research into this, because ultimately it is a massive, actually, maybe you don't want to do any research into this, and I understand it, because it is a rabbit hole which goes to some disturbing and dark places. But yes, that is the ending of the video. Thank you so much for coming along. If you want me to cover anything else, please go down in the comment section and let me know. Not just with Onision, but literally anything. I have been kind of like a bit stagnant in terms of my content creation recently. I made another really long video and it kind of put me out of the swing of things. So if you could help me out and go down below, comment some ideas, or go to my Instagram and follow me and then DM me some ideas of things you want me to cover or do deep dives into, or icebergs. And if you see a comment which says something that you want me to cover, please like that comment, even reply to that comment, because I will then see the comment. But yes, that is the ending of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and please comment your thoughts down below. Instagram is iNabber. And yes, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.